Good evening and welcome to the 6:15 p.m. installment of the news on Canal International. As always, we're coming to you live from our studios at Yupo in Douala. But first things first, the headlines with Sherifa Saleh.
Thousands and possibly millions of Cameroonians are racing against time in their bids to declare their personal income taxes before the December 9 deadline expires. Authorities say those who fail to declare their taxes will face unpleasant consequences, including blocked financial transactions. A few years ago, Douala with its high-rise buildings, leisure parks and beautiful streets was a dream destination for many Cameroonians. The city has over time become a laughingstock as it is characterized by mountains of stinking garbage. And on our international page, we take you to Guinea, where the country is in mourning mood following the death of at least 56 football fans following a stadium stampede last Sunday. Those were the headlines. Developments in a moment.
Thanks once again for keeping us company. And as you heard there, thousands and possibly millions of Cameroonians are facing a race against time as they scramble to declare their personal income taxes ahead of the December 9 deadline, with acute online access and travel snarl-ups adding to the stress. Taxation officials say apart from online, declarations can also be done at local taxation centers, as you tell us, Cynthia Latte.
Robert arrived at the Bonaprito Tax Center at 7 a.m. but has not been able to register due to internet access issues. I've been here since morning, but nothing seems to be moving. I don't want to face the penalties. I was aware of this exercise long ago, but I didn't take it seriously. With his phone in hand and his registration certificate, Abelaine is desperately trying to access the personal income tax declaration platform. According to those assisting with the declarations, the high volume of registration procedures is causing current network disruptions. Some are unable to reset their passwords to access the fiscal website due to the high volume. Experts say most taxpayers should receive prior education, which would simplify the process.
On est donc censé les accompagner, les aider dans leur télédéclaration.
With the deadline extended to December 9, 2024, there is still a window of opportunities for individuals to complete their fillings without incurring penalties.
Now, the dry season, this year's dry season is still in its infancy, and already motorists, pedestrians, roadside vendors, as well as residents of various parts of Douala are already struggling with dust. Tonight, we focus on the eastern parts of the city where complaints are mounting and fingers of accusation turning in the direction of local authorities. Here's Ambo Gladys Ndibang.
The stretch of road linking Peka 14 to Peka 17 in Douala, Cameroon has once again become a source of distress for its road users. Every passing vehicle stirs up thick clouds of dust, forcing commuters and vendors to adapt in unconventional ways.
The road is very terrible with all the dust. During the dry season, we cannot. To come to school, we have to cover our faces as if we're going to, you don't know. And during the rainy season, it's impossible to even like trek because when you're taking back, there is mud all over your body.
Now in the dry season, the dust is unbearable. Visibility is poor when the dust rises, which often leads to accidents. I am from Bonepupa, and living here is a real ordeal. The dust is overwhelming. As you can see, everyone is constantly dusting themselves off. The dust is a real concern.
Commuters are forced to adopt makeshift measures to brave the conditions. Many are seen wrapping themselves in headscarves, donning face masks, and wearing glasses to shield themselves from the dust.
To cross this road, I equip myself with a cap, sunglasses, and sometimes a face mask. This helps me avoid coughing and cold. We've grown used to the dust. Wearing a white uniform is a struggle. I have to put on a raincoat just to keep it clean. Every day I wash my uniform because by the time I go to school and return, the dust completely stains it.
La poussière de là-bas, c'est le ciment. Et ça entre dans nos narines. C'est la maladie totale. Même avec ça, ça traverse.
The impact of the dust extends beyond commuters.
So when it's rainy season, customers cannot come in because of mud. So with this dust, when customers came like that and they look like this, my bucket, as you can see, dust everywhere. They cannot buy them because there's too much dust. You see, as if the goods are old.
Locals are calling on authorities to take immediate action to repair the PK14 to PK17 stretch of road, as they can no longer bear the seasonal cycles of sufferings.
And so once upon a long time ago, the same Douala was a preferred tourist destination for many Cameroonians as well as citizens from other countries of the Central African sub-region. However, the once bustling commercial center is now drowning in a sea of trash, with overflowing bins and garbage heaps lining almost all the streets. Residents say they face a daily battle with foul odors as well as flies. Jim Morin went finding out, and this is what she brought back.
With just a few weeks to go before the festive season, residents of Douala sounding the alarm on the city's dire sanitation situation. Major streets like Makepe Misoke, Bel Air, Carrefour Petit Pays, and other key junctions are littered with garbage, causing discomfort and concern among city dwellers. It can make 2 or 3 days before they come clear the garbage. When they don't, it blocks the road. If only they could collect every day. There are people who drop from their vehicles and dump their garbage. The lack of trash bins in these areas forces inhabitants to dump waste on the ground, exacerbating the problem. Ironically, most of the garbage dump species are created by inhabitants themselves. They cried out, "We don't feel fine with the trash can. And when it is much, it blocks the road. Since the space for the trash was created, we have never had a trash can, and it was created by the population. A single trash bin cannot carry the dirt. If we could have at least 7 that could be emptied every day, it would have been of great help." With the festive season approaching, residents are urging authorities to take action to salvage the situation. They want all streets cleansed and cleaned for festivities, not transformed into decorative objects made of filth. The clock is ticking, and with less than 3 weeks, Douala's dirty streets and give residents the clean and joyful festive season they deserve. Questions on everyone's lips.
And meantime, industrial zones across Cameroon and those in Douala in particular are gripped by a panoply of challenges, including poor infrastructure, energy deficits, inadequate security, and high pollution. And in bids to address this situation through projects, as you tell us, Cynthia Latu.
One notable project involves transforming a 3,000 square piece of land in the Douala Bassa Industrial Zone into a firefighting brigade unit. In collaboration with its partners, the Mission for Development and Management of Industrial Zones (MAZIC) is contributing to the SND30 program in Douala by constructing roads in the Douala and Bonaberi industrial zones using cobblestones. In a working visit on this Monday, December 2, the director notes the advancement of this project. What I have seen, I realized that a lot of work is being done with limited resources. The zones are being completely transformed with the new infrastructure being put in place.
Ils sont en train d'être mis en place.
The delegation is assessing completed projects, those currently underway. Despite ongoing challenges such as poor road conditions and pollution, progress continues to create sufficient space for enterprises to establish themselves.
Pour permettre aux entreprises de s'installer.
Looking ahead, MAZIC has additional projects planned for 2025, including the continuation of new road construction.
It's a little over 27 minutes after 6 p.m. all across Cameroon. You're watching the news on Canal International. Of course, we're coming to you live from Douala. Now on to something else. A group of women united under the canopy of an association dubbed Solidarity Against Cancer has found a unique way of coping with breast cancer. In fact, its members are using knitting as a therapy to mitigate stress and anxiety. Here's T. Maureen once again.
A trained instructor from Nigeria traveled to Cameroon to teach these women fighting cancer. With the act of knitting, what started as a hobby has now become a symbol of hope and resilience. The cancer warriors see that knitting helps distract them from the painful treatment and provides a sense of accomplishment.
I decided to come to Cameroon because as a Nigerian, you do not need a visa to be in Cameroon. And I reached out to Honila, who is the one in charge of the survivors of breast cancer in Cameroon. And I said, I was going to come and teach women how to knit their breast knockers. So because in the past in Nigeria, people send me email and say, help me make one. So instead of requesting or asking others to help them do it, those who are survivors, who are warriors of breast cancer, can learn how to make for themselves.
Ma mère en question sont des choses qui coûtaient excessivement cher à la pharmacie. Elle a donc pensé qu'avec la laine, pouvait faire cela pour penser le manque de ces femmes.
However, despite these possible outlets, the women emphasize that cancer treatment remains expensive and accessible.
Minimum 279 000 francs CFA par chimiothérapie.
When they reach out in terms of support for their treatment, in terms of support for their therapy, in terms of support for chemotherapy.
Grouped under their association, Solidarity Against Cancer, they are calling on the government to continue supporting cancer victims and provide affordable health care.
If all stakeholders who are in the medical field, those who are in the government, put in the effort that is required to continually give women support in terms of awareness, in terms of sensitization, in terms of prevention, and in terms of helping them for the cure.
Knitting is just one of the activities organized by the association to keep cancer patients engaged and motivated. As one woman puts it, knitting gives them a sense of purpose and helps them forget their struggles.
And this Tuesday, December 3, marks the International Day of Persons Living with Disabilities. During commemorative activities earlier today in Douala, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees opted to provide mobility aids for people living with disabilities as a means of promoting inclusion and a sustainable future. Tell us more, Sherifa Saleh.
As the world commemorates the International Day of Persons with Disabilities on December 3, 2024, Cameroon joined in with a remarkable gesture of support. In Douala, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees distributed mobility aid to persons with disabilities, providing much-needed relief and improving their quality of life.
Les lois camerounaises portant protection des personnes handicapées.
If internally displaced persons were respected in our country, we won't be here today, but in our country it's not the case. The ceremony attended by the governor of the littoral region underscored the importance of empowering persons with disabilities. The mobility aids, ranging from wheelchairs to other assistive devices, are expected to enhance beneficiaries' independence and access to opportunities. My child has been suffering for now. She has not been mobile on one place, and I am really grateful today for what she received. With that, she will be able to move around without anybody helping her. UNHCR representatives at the event highlighted the global commitment to fostering inclusivity, particularly for vulnerable groups. The littoral governor praised the initiative, reaffirming the government's dedication to creating a more accessible and inclusive society for all.
All this process, because this was not the end of a process, but also the beginning of a new life for refugees, internally displaced persons, and also community members.
This year's theme for the International Day of Persons with Disabilities is amplifying the leadership of persons with disabilities for an inclusive and sustainable future. The support provided in Douala reflects this vision, offering hope and practical solutions to challenges faced by persons with disabilities.
Authorities have declared 3 days of mourning following a deadly crash at a football match at Zere Kore that killed at least 56 people. Some experts suggest that the toll could even be double that number. As with only one exit, the overcrowd has condemned the tragedy and promised an investigation. The match was played to honor junta leader Mamadi Doumbouya. The opposition is now blaming him for the tragedy. And that's how we saw it on this.